OMG Teach Me crew, happy Friday. I am so excited to chat with you today for just a few minutes about one of my favorite topics. Now, if we are connected on social media, you may have seen recently I did sort of a joking post on Facebook where I had a picture of myself in the Grand Canyon. Well, not in the Grand Canyon, at the Grand Canyon, with my arms flung out wide in the air, kind of like, wow, look at this. And then I also had a picture of myself in the desert in the United Arab Emirates recently with my arms flung out wide in the same position. And I was saying to my Facebook friends, well, maybe I should just start doing this pose everywhere I go and it'll be a thing. And then I was kind of laughing about it. But then I thought further, what is it about that pose that made me feel a little bit silly, number one, but also made me feel really good? And when I look at the picture, it feels really empowered. And good heavens, if that's not what we're here for, I don't know what we're here for. So I went back to one of my favorite TED Talks of all time, and I will put the link in the show notes for you. And this is Amy Cuddy's TED Talk on how our body language potentially affects us and vice versa. So what she says, and there's been so much discussion about this since she had her TED Talk, back and forth, but what she says and what her study showed is that if we do a pose and hold it for even just 2 minutes, that is a position in body language of being more empowered. It potentially changes how we feel. We feel more powerful. Now, it's all being argued about whether it physiologically changes. She was studying hormone levels. There's just been so much discussion about this, and that's fantastic. But what I want you to pick up from this is the way that we interact with the world in terms of our body positioning matters. So let me give you a little primer. She called one position pride, and I think this is another researcher's name for this position. If you've ever seen a sprinter come across, or any sort of racer come across the finish line, they kind of put their chin a little bit high in the air and they put their arms flung out, kind of like I was doing in my pictures. That is a position of empowered feeling. Pride. That is a power pose. She talks also a lot about what you might have heard of as the Wonder Woman pose. You stand with your feet a little bit apart and you put your fists on your hips so that your elbows are out wide, and you make sure you have a tall posture. And I'm doing these things while I'm talking, by the way. I know you can't see me, but still doing them. And if we hold that for a couple of minutes, it can make us feel ready to face something, and ready to face it feeling a lot more empowered and a lot more able. And it's a whole different feeling than what she called the low power poses, which are things like putting your hand up at your neck, the front or the back of your neck, because that's kind of closing your arm into your body. If you're crossing your legs and you're kind of hunching over and you're pulling your arms in, think about, when am I trying to take up less space in my body language? That's a low power position. And when am I taking up more space with my body? My arms out, I'm standing up, whatever it might be, that's a higher power position. And the interesting thing was, she says we tend to complement each other's positions, not mirror them. So if we're standing in a powerful position, someone else might be shrinking back a little bit. Now, we don't necessarily want that to happen either, but let's make sure we're not the one shrinking back from someone who walks in with a very empowered pose. So sit up, stand up, have your arms out, try the Wonder Woman pose. This is something so simple to do, and it might make you feel completely different about your day, your next challenge, whatever it might be. Give it a try. See you soon.